In this video, we're going to look at the process for moving a student through content recovery via the Canvas content recovery courses. If you have students who were listed in the DF report via Synergy, then those students were automatically assigned to a content recovery course in Canvas at the end of the market period. Also, all teachers of students in content recovery were assigned to their appropriate content area course, the same as students were. So on your Canvas dashboard, you should have seen a content recovery course appear, and once you go into that course, you would see a list of your students that were on that report as listed to have had D's or F's in your class for market period 3 as well as market period 2. So what I'm going to go over here is what you are supposed to be doing with this. A summary of this was shared with you on March the 28th. So I am just reiterating via a visual how this process is supposed to be carried out. So I'm using the Virginia U.S. History Content Recovery course as in this example. And when you go into your Canvas course, you're going to see something similar to this. So you have the welcome here and what each module contains as far as the content is concerned. Now, in addition to the content for each topic in the modules start off with a pre-test and they always end with a post-test. Okay, so at the beginning of the module, your student will have the opportunity to take a pre-test covering the material within that module. And mastery of that particular module will be indicated from a score of 75% on the pre-test. So if the student get a 75 on the pre-test in the first module, Canvas will allow them to go ahead and move on to the next module. So they won't have to complete these items here, or each topic in the module. They will be allowed to go straight to the next module and take that pre-test. If the student does not get a 75% on the pre-test, then they will have to go through all of the lessons in that module and then proceed to take the post-test. Now, they can only take the pre-test once, and if they fail the pre-test and go through the work within the module, they can take the post-test as many times as they need to until they receive a score of 75. Then they will be allowed to proceed to the next module. And they will follow that process until they complete all the modules with either a 75 on the pre-test or a 75 on the post-test. And all of these scores should be present in the content recovery grade book. So let me just go to modules and show you what the layout of these of the content looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and look at a list of all the modules in this particular course, and you'll notice that these modules are labeled by marking period. So you see market period 1 modules, market period 2, 3, and 4. You will also notice over here that in this particular course, market period 3 is the only one that is published. So when the students log in, and if I hit the student view, so you'll see what the students see. They only see market period 3 content. Now in some cases, market period 2 may be available to the students because we have not shut down access to market period 2 content from students who have received invitations to the courses but have not accepted them yet. So they may still see market period 2 content there. But this is what students will see. They will see only market period 3. They will then go to the first module here and open it up, and they will see the pretest. So they would, and it says underneath that is worth 30 points, and they have to score at least a 22.5 in order to pass it. So they will proceed to take the pretest. If they get a score of 75, Canvas will then allow them, because right now the second module is grayed out, so they won't be able to skip down and do the second module until they have either passed the pretest or the post-test. So if they fail the pretest up here, they will go ahead and work on these exercises here and activities, which are designed to prepare them to take the post-test. And so once they go through these items or these assignments, then they will then take the post-test, and they can take the post-test as many times as they need to. The pre-test they can only take once. So once they get the 75 on the post-test, then they will be allowed to move on to the next module, which then would not be grayed out. And then they follow the same process until they complete that module. And then they'll go on to the third module here and do the same thing. And then once they have completed that, all of their scores on the pre-test and post-test should be available to you via the gradebook. Okay. Now, in terms of the gradebook, there's several ways that you can access the student scores. Okay, you can click on people, and also you will only see your students in your classes or sections. Okay, when you go into people, you won't see all of the students who are in content recovery for that content area. You will only see your students. So if there's a student that you want to see how far they have gotten, monitor their progress, or if you want to verify that they have completed content recovery for that particular course, then you can go into people and you can click on, I'm going to try to find somebody that has gone in here recently. You can tell by the last activity here, this person logged in April 13th, which was yesterday. So I'm going to click on her name, her name. And over here on the right hand side, you see grades. Click on the grades. And then you have a list of all the assignments that the students have access to. And they should represent the 3 modules, or be represented within the 3 modules. And so you scroll down, and in this particular case, this student hasn't completed any of the assignments yet for market period 3. So let me go back and see if I can find somebody that has, so I can show you what that looks like. Okay, so this student has some grades that you can see down here. So I'm gonna click on grades again, and scroll down, and I'm basically looking for pre-test and post-test. I'm not really concerned about the other activities, because those activities are designed to get the student ready to take the post-test All right, so we got a post-test here. Let's see what else we got. We got a pre-test. So we got a pre-test for the modern American world conflict, imperialism, and the Great War. And the student got a 26 out of 30 on this pre-test. So if you do the calculation there, and I'm just going to pull up my calculator. If you work that out, that student got an 87 on this pretest, which is passing. So what that means is that that student can now move on to the next module without having to take the post test for that particular module. Now, if the student had failed this pretest here, gotten less than a 75, then they would have to go through all the lessons, activities in the module, and then they would go down and they would take this post test. Now, this student went ahead and took the post test anyway, probably not realizing that they didn't have to do it, and scored a 23 out of 30, which is a 77. So that's passing also. So then the student will then go on to the next module and proceed with the same process. So this is one place that you can find the grades. You can also go into the grade book. I can scroll over until I find the pre-test. Yeah, here we go. The post-tests and the pre-tests are listed here. And you can see scores for the pre-test for this particular module, and you just scroll down till you find students, and you can see how well they did, or you can verify that they did the test in order to give them their content recovery grade change. One last thing that I want to talk about is, just only because I forgot about it, is to go back to the modules, and I want to look at, let's go back and look at MP3, for example, the first module, just to look at layout of the content. And again, this content is a modification of the Edgenuity course for Virginia and U.S. history in this case. In each module, again, you're going to have the pre-test and the post-test. There's a reflection document for the student. If they fail the pre-test, they proceed to the reflection document. They'll go to each topic. There's a warm-up, there's the instruction, and then there's a practice quiz. And these warm-ups and the instruction pieces are basically videos. So I click on the warm-up. We got your typical Edgenuity videos. So I go back. That's the typical setup for each module. The reflection, the guided notes, the notes that the student will take as they go through the activities, make notes that they can refer back to, and they go through all of these, and then they go and take the post-test. Okay, so that's basically it. And once you have verified in the grade book that the student has completed these modules, then you can go ahead and do the grade change for that student that has completed the content recovery requirement. Alright, so going forward, check in on your students and make sure that they are in good shape. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me